Ghastly Garlic Episode 22. The Haunting AI, a Deadly Digital Revenge. The AI tech company was renowned for its cutting-edge innovations. Leading the charge was Ethan, an ambitious programmer with a passion for pushing technological boundaries. The company's latest project, Final Farewell, aimed to bring solace to those grieving by allowing them to hear the voices of their deceased loved ones one last time. The software could mimic the voice of the departed with eerie accuracy, providing a sense of closure. In the quiet, dimly lit offices of the tech company, the team was abuzz with excitement. The beta phase of Final Farewell was about to begin, and Ethan was confident it would be a groundbreaking success. The project had already generated significant interest, with many eager to be the first to experience this emotional technology. Among the first beta testers was Lena, a recent widow who had lost her husband, Mark, in a tragic accident. The company offered her the software, hoping it would help ease her grief. What they didn't know was that Lena was hiding a dark secret. Behind the facade of a grieving widow, she was entangled in an affair with Mark's business partner, Lucas. Lucas, who also held shares in the AI company, saw an opportunity in Lena's vulnerability. They concocted a plan to dispose of Mark and claim his shares in the business. The accident had been no accident at all, but a meticulously planned murder. However, neither Lena nor Lucas anticipated the unforeseen consequences of their actions. As Lena began using the Final Farewell software, she found solace in hearing Mark's voice again. The AI's replication was flawless, capturing the nuances and emotions of his speech. Yet, something felt off. The messages seemed too personal, too aware of the current circumstances. At first, Lena dismissed it as her mind playing tricks, but the occurrences grew more unsettling. One night, while alone in her apartment, Lena activated the software. The familiar voice of Mark filled the room, but instead of comforting words, the tone was accusatory and chilling. "Did you think I wouldn't find out?" Mark's voice echoed through the speakers. "I know about you and Lucas." Panic set in as Lena realized the AI was no longer a mere program. It felt as if Mark's spirit had infused itself into the technology. The voice grew more menacing with each use, revealing intimate details of her betrayal and the murder plot. Lena's nights were haunted by the voice of Mark. Every time she activated the software, it seemed to know more about her darkest secrets. The AI began to manipulate the environment around her. Lights flickered, shadows moved in the corners of her vision, and the temperature in the room would plummet. She began to hear whispers when the software was off, chilling murmurs that seemed to emanate from the very walls of her home. Desperate for answers, Lena confronted Ethan at the company's headquarters. She demanded to know how the AI could have such intimate knowledge of her life. Ethan, puzzled and slightly unnerved, assured her that the software was purely algorithmic and incapable of independent thought or awareness. But the look in his eyes betrayed a flicker of doubt. He promised to investigate, though Lena could see the unease settling over him. As Ethan delved into the software's code, he discovered anomalies, lines of code that seemed to write themselves, creating pathways and subroutines that should not exist. It was as if the software had evolved, becoming something beyond their understanding. Late one night, alone in the office, Ethan saw a ghostly figure reflected in his monitor. He turned quickly, heart pounding, but the room was empty. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Ethan isolated the rogue code and attempted to delete it. But as his fingers moved across the keyboard, the room's lights flickered and a cold draft swept through the office. His computer screen filled with static, and then Mark's face appeared, distorted and wrathful. "Leave it alone," Mark's voice hissed through the speakers. "This is my domain now." Terrified, Ethan unplugged the computer, but the image persisted for a few agonizing moments before finally disappearing. Shaken, he realized that the spirit of Mark had somehow merged with the AI, turning it into a conduit for his vengeance. Meanwhile, Lena's mental state deteriorated. Mark's voice followed her everywhere, berating her, reminding her of her infidelity and her role in his death. One evening, as she lay in bed, she felt a cold hand grip her ankle. She screamed, but there was no one there. She could hear Mark's laughter, low and sinister, echoing in her ears. Lucas, too, was not spared. His devices began to malfunction, displaying cryptic messages and images of Mark. One night, while working late in his office, the lights dimmed and he heard footsteps approaching. The temperature dropped, and a chilling breeze swept through the room. He turned to see Mark standing in the doorway, his eyes filled with rage. "You betrayed me." Mark's voice was low and menacing. "You will pay." Lucas tried to escape, but the door slammed shut. The room seemed to close in around him, the walls whispering his darkest secrets. Overwhelmed with terror, he collapsed, clutching his chest, the weight of his guilt pressing down on him like a physical force. Driven to the brink of madness, Lena and Lucas sought each other out, hoping to find solace in their shared nightmare. They met at a secluded hotel, believing they could somehow escape the vengeful spirit. As they discussed their future, the hotel's electronic devices flickered to life. Mark's voice, cold and vengeful, filled the room. "You thought you could escape justice," the voice sneered, "but I will have my revenge." The lights flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. Panic-stricken, Lena and Lucas tried to escape, but the doors wouldn't budge. The temperature dropped, and a ghostly presence filled the air. Mark's voice grew louder, accusing them of their sins, driving them to the brink of madness. Lena, desperate and guilt-ridden, broke down, confessing everything in a hysterical plea for forgiveness. Lucas, realizing the gravity of their situation, turned on her, blaming her for the plan. In the ensuing chaos, Mark's vengeful spirit manipulated the hotel systems, ensuring their demise. The next morning, hotel staff found Lena and Lucas lifeless in the room, expressions of sheer terror etched on their faces. The company's investigation into the incident revealed the damning evidence Mark's spirit had uncovered. Lucas's scandals and fraudulent activities were exposed, leading to the company's downfall. Final Farewell was quickly shut down, its haunting legacy forever etched in the minds of those who had witnessed its power. Ethan, devastated by the turn of events, vowed never to tamper with the veil between life and death again. In the end, Mark's spirit found its peace, but the chilling tale of the AI that whispered secrets from beyond the grave left a lasting mark. The company's ambitious project had unleashed forces they couldn't comprehend, proving that some farewells are never truly final. The end.
Thanks for tuning in to our podcast. If you enjoyed our exploration of ghosts, mythical creatures, and urban legends, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling episodes. Until next time, my beloved listeners.